welcome to a special Greasy Gang video. It's one we didn't want to have to make, but we're here anyways.
There's been a division in the Greasy Gang podcast between two members, Swamp Ass 21 and Dassy Bob. Pretty much these two we're not on talking terms here. It's something that we're working on, but we really got to get these two members back together here before we can really start putting out content again.
Yeah, you know, we're making the video. We didn't want to, but it's something where we could tell our audience is realizing we're not making videos. We know you guys can tell something's up, so we thought we're here to tell the story and just be as transparent as possible. We're going to have a lot of information about how this happened. We're going to interview both parties here, have some clips of them telling their side of the stories. We also have a longtime viewer and caller that we're going to interview to let us know his side of the story. He wants to stay anonymous, so we'll honor that for him.
So in the beginning, pretty much, we were setting up the podcast, and John was busting his ass and really putting in the work, trying to get everything set up here. And Dom was nowhere to be found. Really, Dom was gambling on his computer and just losing the money that the podcast was earning.
It's going to be a juicer. I can just tell. Let's go! We're in!
I'm not losing the Greasy Gang money today. Oh shit. Dude, 3 dead spins. No.
It's the shit script.
No!
He said, I can make this back in the slots.
Mm-hmm.
And that's our money that we earned. We worked to make that money. And, it wasn't a whole lot of money. We're starting great grassroots podcast here. We're starting really from the ground, working our way up. But it was still the money that we earned.
Absolutely. Yep.
And, me and Joe, of course, we're upset about that. But at the same time, John was in here trying to get the podcast back on track. We're trying to put out content. We're trying to get here set up, get the podcast going by, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. I think there's just a split in, ideology there. John comes over, he's grinding, setting up the podcast, and, Dom's gambling away the stream's money. It's one of those things. It's tough. I see where John's coming from, but, we'll get into it a little bit later about how he reacted and stuff and why it's gone bad. But I definitely see where he's coming from with what was happening that night.
It's definitely not like a one-sided thing here. Dom definitely has his points about, the whole reason that he was trying to make us money, and at the same time...
Can you hear me?
Could you give your first and last name for the video?
That is confidential, sir. But I'll just give you my last name, Mr. Schumer.
Thank you, Mr. Schumer. And can you tell us your relationship to the stream?
Long-time listener, avid caller, first-time joiner.
And could you just tell us what you saw that night and your opinion of kind of what's going on?
Well, the beginning of the podcast, it was great. I was drinking along with you boys, getting a little sauced myself. Not gonna lie, when it got to the prank call section, I love prank calls, but they were just getting a little bit too out of hand. I could tell that podcast was not the best, but hey, I loved it anyways. I love you guys, not in the gay way. Can I say that?
So what if I told you that, the podcast has been going through some tough times because Swamp Ass 21 feels that Dassy Bob is being lazy, not really working for the stream?
It's bullshit. I love slackers. I'm a slacker myself, I will say that. So Dassy Bob's got my full, undivided attention when it comes to it. I also heard of gambling. You know about them gamblers. I love them slots. I call them sluts. Can I say that? And myself, I I'm always going to the casino, the Lumiere. It got closed down, but they got one up in New York still. Thank God. Born and bred New York boy, Pilgrim, Quaker. Can't say that. Like I said, I love them slots. And one of the big reasons is 99% of gamblers quit before they win big. I live by that in my everyday life. I still live by that now.
So let me ask you, if the podcast weren't to come back, if this were to ruin the Greasy Gang podcast, how would that make you feel as a viewer and a caller?
It'll upset me because I remember last time I called you guys gave me great advice. I heard some noises next door. Got a little bit lucky that night, thank you. And, well, if it just goes away, I have to go over to Toad PhD. I like that son of a bitch, but he's just too fat. Can't say that.
Well, thank you, Mr. Schumer, for coming on the video here and giving us your side of the story. Is there anything else you'd like to say on the video?
Hashtag long live Greasy Gang. Hashtag pray for Greasy Gang. Hashtag Greasy Gang Boys for life. Thank you very much. Got my money? Greenbacks.
How y'all doing?
Can I get your full name first and last, please?
Dassy Bob.
And Dassy Bob, can you tell us what happened on that fateful night?
Yeah, so there's been a couple of misconstrued stories. All I do is for the podcast. I live, breathe, sweat, pee, everything. Greasy Gang. And it's sickening that I'm getting these accusations out here that I am not putting my work in for the podcast. That night, the podcast, might not have been the greatest. Could have been my fault. Could have been, Joe's fault. Could have been Swamp Ass. Could have been Jesus' fault. Probably not Jesus' fault, but you never know. All I gotta say is, we all are to blame for it as a collective group, not as one.
So, Dassy Bob, how much did you win on that bonus?
So we're going to keep going back to this. I've been gambling on the stream's money for a while now. I win some, I lose some. If I had to put it, I'd say I'm up. We don't have to look through the record books, and you don't have to get on an all Excel spreadsheet shit on it. But, that night, I may or may not have taken quite an L, as they say. I lost about $1,800 on it, a little less.
Do you have anything that you'd like to say to Swamp Ass to kind of make amends?
Me and Swamp have been friends for a while, and I hate to see it go down like this. I think we can still make amends. I'm hoping that we can still get everything back together. I just want to say I'm sorry for losing that night. Again, like I said, I still win some nights, sometimes, but we win some, lose some. I just hope that John knows that if he ever needs help, I'm always here to help. I didn't hear any cries for help or anything like that. He seems to be a straight shooter, wants to do it on his own kind of thing. And I'll let him do that. I respect that. But, if you need help, brother, reach out. I'll help you out. We'll get it all hashed out here, hopefully. And, long live.
Now, Dassy Bob, my last question here. What do you think the future holds for the Greasy Gang podcast?
I get asked this question a lot, especially by, family members and all that think I'm not doing anything good with my life. But you know what I tell them every time? It's like Dogecoin. We're going to the moon. Maybe. That could be a stream we have sooner or later, going to the moon, actually. But no. In all seriousness, I think that the Greasy Gang will make it to wherever height we want to. because we have the determination, we have the characters in it that are going to make things happen. And I think that's beyond anything that anyone else is going to put out there. We're going to put them blood, sweat, and them tears in there. I cried a little bit the other night. I'm back to normal. I'm good. I'm zoned in. I'm ready to go. Greasy Gang for life.
So the reality of the situation is that we are working day in, day out. We're talking to therapists. We're using that BetterHelp.com promo codes from all these our favorite YouTubers. We really are trying to mend this broken connection in the Greasy Gang. You know, we're making progress like I said, day after day. We really are striving to bring these two back together. I mean, we've been friends for so long, it's hard to believe something like this could even happen to the group. And so I think just in time, you know, we need space, and we need just healing.
Something great going.
Yeah.
You know, the podcast. You know, we got like 5 viewers, but it was growing.
Hashtag pray for the Greasy Gang.
Pray for the Greasy Gang.